Welcome back to Mr. Mar's 3-Minute History. Quick summaries about a range of different history topics. Today we're going back to one of the early events which was a part of the Cold War, and this is the Korean War. It's often known as the Forgotten War by many people, because although it had a very significant role in the 1950s, it's something that's largely not discussed, certainly in comparison to other wars of the 20th century. In the first place, it's worth understanding why it's a relevant story to the Cold War. This largely goes back to US fears about communism. In the aftermath of World War II, which ended in 1945, America had real concerns that communism was going to spread all across the world. The ruins of Europe were potentially ripe recruiting grounds for communists, and as a result of this, America took steps in Europe, such as the Marshall Plan, to try and move countries away from this. In Asia there was equal concern, especially after 1949, when China, Asia and the world's largest country, became communist. America had shifted towards a strategy of containment, trying to stop the spread of communism rather than moving out of the countries where it was embedded. The war itself began in June 1950. Korea had been formerly controlled by Japan. However, at the end of World War II this had ended, and this left something of a power vacuum. Soviet troops had been in the north of the country and American troops in the south, and each part of Korea had its own government. In June 1950, North Korea invaded South Korea with the intention of taking over and uniting the whole country. This led to further American fears about the idea of a domino theory, which was that if Korea fell to communism, so would other countries in Asia start doing the same. As a result of this, with North Korea being given support from China and the Soviet Union, America gave support to South Korea. This was largely done under the banner of the United Nations, although the overwhelming majority of troops were American. There were various ebbs and flows to the war, especially in the early stages. For instance, control of Seoul was gained and lost by both sides at various times. However, from 1951 onwards, there was largely minimal movement in territory gained or lost by both sides. There were a number of notable battles. On land, this included Imjin River and Incheon. The air battles are perhaps best remembered for the dogfights between the Soviet MiG-15 and the US Sabre jets. And there were also sea battles as well, such as at Han River, and also mines played a key role as well. The fighting element of the war came to an end in July 1953. Both sides agreed an armistice, which is a temporary end to the fighting, and this divided the country at the 38th parallel. Interestingly, although the armistice meant that there was no further direct fighting, in a legal sense, an actual agreement to end the war was only signed in 2018. The Korean War was significant for a number of reasons. Not only was it one of the major early conflicts of the Cold War, but it played a role in Vietnam, as a few years later, when a similar situation between North and South arose, it gave America belief that intervention would surely stop the spread of communism. That, of course, had a rather different ending.